here we are in week 11, Um, a lot of important matchups this week with this point of the NFL season because, teams are either fighting for the division or fighting for playoff spots. A lot of teams at this point, unlike compared to past seasons, like you don't know exactly who is gonna be in the playoff hunt. Like pretty much just every team is either like one game behind, a half game behind, or like they're exactly at the same record as each other. Like I think the Vikings, the 49ers, I think also the Falcons and the Eagles have almost the same identical records as each other. So it's pretty like in the AFC it's no different. Like literally almost everyone has the same, like outside of like the Ravens, the Titans, pretty much the contender, like pretty much the bulk of the pack. The cream of the crop. Like outside the cream of the crop, everyone else down below, it's pretty much anyone's game, I guess. So there's a lot to sort out. Usually by week by last week or 2 weeks ago, you would have figured out like, okay, we know at least a couple, like one or two or three or four teams, two on each side by now, who's going to be in and who's going to be out. But no, literally like there's literally it's an arms race. I mean, sure, we already know that the Lions, the Texans, the Jets, the Jags, like we already know their shit. We already know their shit. Like they're not going anywhere this season, so like we can disqualify them from this conversation. But this is the week 11 for pretty much like all the X Factor teams to prove that they're in it to win it. They're not the flukes of the playoff race. And that point starts with Thursday Night Football as we get a Super Bowl rematch of sorts, not really, as the New England Patriots take on the Atlanta Falcons this time in Atlanta. Last time around, Tom Brady faced Matt Ryan in an immediate rematch of Super Bowl 51 in Foxborough, and it got so foggy that Tom Brady was able to whip on the Falcons' candy asses 24-7. But this time around, 4 years later, it's Matt Ryan's turn to host not Tom Brady, but Mac Jones and the Patriots on his home turf. But oh man, things look so different now for the Falcons because their offense is so bad. So look for Mac Jones and this Patriots offense to just naturally weave through this bad Falcons team. And, Matt Ryan's just going to get harassed by a pretty good Patriots defense all game long. And I don't expect Cordell Patterson, their running back / wide receiver, to play in this game. And even if he does, he's just going to risk himself getting hurt because he's currently slated with the mild ankle sprain. And I don't think it's worth playing in this game against a quality team. So, the Falcons can just take the L. Patriots are going to win this, so no question about it. But then again, crazy things have happened on Thursday night. So then we get into the Sunday slate of games. We'll start with the early morning action. The New Orleans Saints take on the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have taken a pretty much run-first approach, just like the 49ers, pretty much. So this run-first approach by the Eagles is pretty much going to face a challenge against a top-ranked Saints run defense. But I think even then with the Saints, Trevor Siemian is not exactly lining it up on offense. Sure, he's not making mistakes, but, he's not really doing much, to help them win games. So expect Jalen Hurts to throw it more, especially to Devontae Smith, and take care of the Saints in a tightly contested game ahead of Thanksgiving. Then in New York, the Miami Dolphins take on the New York Jets. This game, really? At this point in the season? I mean, we all know Tua's going to start, but now we know it's Joe Flacco that's going to take the reins. So either way, I mean, the Dolphins have a decent pass rush. That was seen on Thursday night. They know how to get to the quarterback. and they're just pretty much gonna dismantle green eggs and ham on the road. Yeah, I don't care about this game. So the Washington football team travels to Carolina to take on the Carolina Panthers. I think Washington is going to have a little bit of a harder time to win with their similar formula from the Tampa Bay game. I think Antonio Gibson's going to have a little bit of a more difficult game against Carolina's defense. And I think the Panthers have a little bit of a more rejuvenated team with, like I said, with Cam Newton. Cam Newton, this is going to be his first game in front of Carolina since 2019. He's pretty much back with the team at home. And, Carolina is a little bit more healthier than Washington. And, they have their familiar quarterback to get things done. So I'm going to roll with Carolina in this game. Then in a big matchup of the week, the Indianapolis Colts take on the Buffalo Bills. This is a critical game for both teams. The Buffalo Bills are back to hitting their stride on offense. And the Colts, for as fluky as they are, they're trying to catch up to the Tennessee Titans. They're waiting for the Titans to, to slip up a couple of games, and so they can, take advantage of the AFC South. But the Bills shouldn't have no problem. They should continue to return to form ahead of a matchup against the Patriots 2 weeks from now, and ahead of a Thanksgiving game against the Saints next week. So they should take care of a fluky Colts team that nearly gave up 2 games against 2 bottom barrel teams. So I'm going with the Bills. Then in another game that probably no one will want to win, the Detroit Lions will attempt to actually win a game against the skid marks, the Cleveland Browns, the banged up Cleveland skid marks. So we don't know if Baker Mayfield or Case Keenum is going to start this game, but whoever it is, like I said, they're banged up. And, pretty much nothing is happening in the air. So it's pretty much going to be, the running game that's going to run this show. Whatever's left of the defense, specifically the front 7, is going to have to do the damage to whether it's Jared Goff or whoever their backup quarterback is. So I'm just going to roll with the Browns. Then, in an interesting matchup, the San Francisco 49ers traveled to AEW Land to take on Jacksonville and the Jaguars. So, the 49ers should hopefully carry over their performance from the Rams game, especially on defense. So they should be able to beat up on Trevor Lawrence and their non-existent offense and their non-existent defense that had, they had a pseudo Josh Allen game a couple weeks ago, but other than that, they pretty much had a non-existent game. They have a non-existent team, but as long as the Niners players, none of the Niners players, I'm looking at you, George Kittle. As long as George Kittle doesn't rep anything All Elite Wrestling, as none of them don anything AEW, they'll be able to beat up on the Jags in the land of All Elite. So I'm just hoping the Niners don't wear anything AEW, and if they do, they'll get the job done and move to 500. So the Houston Texans travel to take on the Tennessee Titans in their return of the bye week. And let's just say they'll be instantly met by a week of destruction from the Titans offense. Yeah, that's all I have to say about this Titans game. So the Titans will win easily, beating the Texans as they head towards that fight to take on the number 1 overall pick. They just got to take care of the Lions for that. Then, in a big divisional game, the Green Bay Packers take on the Minnesota Vikings. This is a big game for 2 teams fighting for playoff spots. Green Bay is well ahead of Minnesota, but the Vikings still trying to fight for a playoff spot. If Minnesota wins, you never know, and Green Bay could slip up. They got a lot of tough games ahead of their way. I'm not sure about Minnesota's schedule, but a win here for Minnesota and a couple of Packers losses down the stretch, for as mediocre as Minnesota is, you never know what can happen. But given these are the kind of games that Kirk Cousins sinks in, he shrinks. Aaron Rodgers should be able to attack this Vikings defense that's pretty weak. So I'm gonna roll with the Vikings in this one. And then, yes, Week 11 brings the return of Bears football as the Bears return from their vacation of mediocrity to be plastered by the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, a very pissed off and angry Ravens team that was just upset the week prior by a shitty Dolphins team. Sure, I mean, Justin Fields balled out the last time we saw him on the field against the Steelers, but man, that offensive line, the secondary sold him out. So I'm expecting no different from this Bears team against a very pissed off Ravens team that had a very bad game that fell into a trap against the Dolphins. So expect the Ravens to rebound unless if they don't want to against the Bears on Sunday. Then we get to the afternoon slate of games. The Cincinnati Bengals traveled to Vegas to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't expect Derek Carr to, get any better in this game. I don't think the Raiders, I don't think things will get better for them because they'll face a not much like tougher, but a slightly tougher Bengals defense. Joe Burrow is also seething after getting completely destroyed by the Browns a couple weeks ago. So this is a Bengals team that want to be sinking its teeth into the black hole pretty much. Jamar Chase wants to be getting back into his role of lining it up on offense, brushing past defenders, making his case for offensive rookie of the year. So he wants this Bengals team also needs to be getting back on track if they want to have a chance to compete with the Ravens for the AFC North. So I'm gonna roll with the Bengals on this one. Now, in probably one of the games, actually the game that I can't give a definitive pick on, the Arizona Cardinals travel to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Just like with the Seahawks game last week, it's very hard to predict what's gonna happen, who's gonna play, on both sides. We know Russell Wilson's gonna play. We know he's gonna shake off the rust. But we don't know if Kyler Murray is gonna play in this game. He had that ankle injury a couple weeks ago on Thursday night against the Packers. He didn't play in the two games against San Francisco and Carolina. And I know he wants to play in this game against Seattle, but then again, their bye week is in literally the next week. Are you sure you want to play this game against Seattle? I mean, sure, you don't want to lose 3 consecutive games because you'll probably fall behind to the Rams, but then they're not doing so hot. So do you want to risk Kyler Murray in a game against Seattle? Sure, they're not doing so hot right now either, but the bye week is around the corner for Seattle. So, not Seattle, Arizona. So, I think they want to play the long-term game here. So, I don't know. It's their decision. Whatever. So we'll see what happens there. In all honesty, I can't really give you a definitive pick on this game because, it's really going to be an interesting one because, if Kyler Murray plays, and he looks like his pre-week 8 self, not his his before week 8 self, then he's pretty much going to destroy the Seahawks. But if he looks anything like he did against the Packers, then he's going to get whooped. Probably. So the worst case scenario is if Colt McCoy plays in this game. The Seahawks defense remains probably one of the worst, if not the worst, in the league. But then you saw what the Cardinals offense with Colt McCoy against Carolina. Yeah. So in all honesty, I can't really give you a definitive pick in this game. So, yeah. I don't know. I really don't know. So then we get to our last couple of games. The Dallas Cowboys against the Kansas City Chiefs, and probably one of the biggest games of the slate on week 11. It's going to be a high-scoring affair. The Cowboys are on a roll offensively and on both. I don't know, honestly, both sides of the ball. And the Chiefs just finally found their groove back again. Mahomes and the Kansas City Big Three. They're going to be wanting to go toe-to-toe with Dak Prescott and the boys. So it's going to be a high-scoring affair. But I think, for all the groove that the Chiefs have found again, I don't think it'll be enough. I think the Cowboys will find a way to upset the Chiefs due to a defensive play that could go down late in the game that turns the tide in favor of the Cowboys. And for as much as the media wants to rag on, the Cowboys lost to the Chiefs. Yay! I think the Cowboys will find a way, down the wire, to win this one. I think the Chiefs, the game against the Raiders might be an outlier. It could be. We'll see. So I'm going to roll with the Cowboys in this one. Then the Sunday night game, the Pittsburgh Steelers traveled to SoFi to take on the LA Chargers. Oh, sorry, no, not the Chargers. The Clippers. Yes, the Clippers are back, people. But this is probably not going to be one exciting Sunday night game. Just like last week, because we don't know if Big Ben Roethlisberger is going to play in this game. We don't know if he's going to be cleared out of the COVID protocol. So we don't know what's going to happen there. So if he's not cleared from the protocol, then we're probably going to get more of Mason Rudolph. Yikes. Yuck. Why don't they play Dwayne Haskins? I know he had trouble during his Washington days, legal trouble, but it's been almost a year. And nothing has happened since then. The dude hasn't gotten in trouble since then. He's been sitting on the bench, understudying Ben Roethlisberger, and getting maturity treatment, maturity development from Mike Tomlin. Why don't you let this dude have a chance? Why don't you let him take a shot in this primetime slot? Why do we gotta roll with Mason Rudolph, who we already know for the last 2 years? We know he sucks. We know he absolutely sucks. Okay? So, whether it's Big Ben Roethlisberger or Mason Rudolph, the Steelers are garbage on offense. They're hot garbage. So expect for Justin Herbert to who's, speaking of offense, their offense has not been good for the last 2 games. So expect for Justin Herbert to finally get his offense back on track in the bright lights of Sunday night in SoFi, which will probably be a road game essentially for the Chargers, because Pittsburgh probably is gonna show out in LA on Sunday, but the Chargers are gonna win this one. Then in the Monday night game, how does New York continue to have so many primetime games? Yes, I know it's the name, the market, but goddamn, when does the NFL start to realize that no matter what the median market name is, no matter what it is, the team sucks. The team absolutely sucks. Okay? The New York Giants traveled to Tampa Bay to take on a very pissed off Bucs team. So you're telling me that you really want to see a Giants team get their candy asses whooped by a Tampa Bay Bucs team, no matter how much they're struggling right now, especially defensively. You really want to see them get their ass kicked. Okay, sure. So expect for Tampa Bay, expect for Tom Brady and this offense, to bounce back from a game against Washington that pretty much rendered Tom Brady to sideline boy. But man, yeah, this is pretty much a game where New York is going to get their ass kicked. That's all I'll say about that. So those are my picks for Week 11 of this NFL season, the biggest season ever, John. So those are my picks for Week 11. Let me know how you feel about my picks. Let me know your picks, however you can, about this week. And yeah, this should be an interesting week. This is probably one of the big weeks as we head down the stretch towards the back half of the NFL season. So it's going to be a somewhat interesting one.